Don't stick your stuff in the freezer. There's no need for it.
This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourts Homestead.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I have just finished packaging up an order that I picked up. You know, you buy a 50-pound bag of grain, you're going to have to repackage it because you don't want bugs to get in that bag of grain when you open it. So the other day, my husband takes me to the Bi-Mart and buys me a hair straightener. It's like 11 bucks, right? You don't want the really fancy one for your hair. You just want the basic one that's going to heat up. I always hesitate when I do it because you have to literally start and never stop until you're done with this part of the storage. So I'm going to show you the beginning. Let's do one bucket together. I started doing them in buckets. I don't like doing them in buckets, but they don't have mason jars out there anymore. So how I usually store my grain is in half-gallon mason jars. It just literally makes sense to me. They come 6 to a case. They used to be $6.99 or $6.49 a case when they went on sale this time of year. They're $14, $14.99 a case for 6, $14.99 for 6. So if you can find them, I mean, I even saw one had them for $18. That is out. What I liked about them, I mean, they're forever because you have to take the air out. And I've done videos before. I don't know if I've uploaded them yet, but you have a food saver. My food saver is over there. I take this, I put without the ring. You can't have the ring on. So you take the ring off, you put this on top, and then you hook this hose here and this to the machine, and then you push canister. That's how I do it. I'm sure every machine is slightly different, but this takes all the air out of it. And when you don't have air, when you don't have oxygen, you don't have life. So everybody's sticking their stuff in the freezer. Don't do that. Don't stick your stuff in the freezer. There's no need for it. Let me get on my little tangent. When you stick something in the freezer, it gets really cold. You have to keep it there for 3 days to a week or whatever. This is the old-fashioned way of doing it. You lose the space in your freezer, and then you bring it out. You now have introduced moisture because cold air into warm air brings moisture. You now have moisture in there. So now you have to leave it on the counter for 3-4 days to dry. And what happens in those 3 to 4 days? Can you guarantee me that a bug is not going to run into your bag and say, ooh, yay. And I know a lady that put her 50-pound bag in her chest freezer. I'm like, get it out of your freezer. You don't need to put your grains and flour in the freezer. Now, with that said, do not use these when you're doing flour. You can if you want. I don't. Any flour type consistency like powdered sugar, flour, whole wheat. You don't do whole wheat anyways because you have to grind your wheat because whole wheat flour only stays good for about 6 months. Even if you put it in the freezer, you're not getting very much length out of whole wheat flour. But anyways, the reason you don't want to use these is because the flour product gets sucked into the hose and can ruin your motor to your machine. So because there are shortages and things are so expensive, we want to keep the life of our products good as long as possible. So this is how we do it now that we don't stick things in freezers. We have O2 absorbers. The oxygen absorbers come like this. There's just 50 of them. And these are for 5-gallon buckets. They have different sizes. Like the one for my half-gallon mason jars, I think that's a 300 cc. 100 cc for the pints. They're only good for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes after they've been exposed to air. Because they eat oxygen. And what is in the air? Oxygen. So as soon as we open these, we're in fast-paced mode, which is probably why I'm sitting here stalling. I haven't had enough coffee today. I'm not talking fast enough to work that fast yet. So what I usually do is I usually open it up. I grab what I need. I throw those in a mason jar with a tight-fitting lid so they'll only eat the oxygen that's inside that jar. And then I will immediately seal this guy up. That's what I do. it's just getting motivated for that. Now, back to doing buckets. I don't normally like to store in the 5-gallon buckets because these were my pros and cons when I first started doing this. 12 years ago, people. 12 years ago. My pro was my storage place is pretty far. And I only have enough backup, but I have a lot of different types of grains. So I didn't want to go and have to open a bucket for half a cup of grain. The other thing is if one section spoils, the whole bucket spoils. So I've never lost a half gallon, but I have lost 2 quart jars before. One was to sunflower seeds where the same exact batch, the same bag of sunflower seeds I bought filled like 5 jars. 1 jar went bad. The oils went bad. So that means there was 1 seed that was inside that tainted and all the others, because I opened up the other jars and they were perfect. And then I had 1 walnut or pecan went bad. The oils went bad. Now, each bag does like 3 jars. So I only had 1 jar go bad. So that means some nut that was in there was bad by the time I got to it. I haven't lost any grains. I haven't lost any flour. But I was storing them in these small jars. So now I'm going to the 5-gallon, which means if something goes bad, I'm going to have 25 pounds of grain, 25 to 30 pounds of grain go bad. Not really excited about that. So what I'm going to do is I fill up each bucket as much as I can. Then I'll seal that off. Once I open that bucket, if it smells good and it passes all my tests, then I will divide it up into these, because I'll use these first. I'll divide it up into these and they'll be back into the smaller storage. So let's get going because I've stalled enough. I got my O2 absorbers in the jar, sealed tight. Ooh, it's already sucked it. And I got the hair straightener. I also have a cookie sheet just so that I can put my straightener on the cookie sheet and not burn my carpet. We are ready to roll. Slip it inside there. Squeeze out as much of the air as possible. There. That's beautiful. That is perfect. I'll do one more with you. Got it sealed, so I'm taking all the air out, and then I'm just going to seal this little part right there. There. On to my next one. Just like that, I'm done. Finished. It's been about 3 minutes. My jar is empty. All of the containers are full and sealed. And I'm going to package them up and put the lids on them and label them because I don't want to forget what's in them. If you have never done this before and you are concerned you might mess it up because there is a time constraint or you're not familiar with it, don't hesitate to find somebody that has and ask them to help you. Let me show you because it's already starting to suck this out. And this is exactly what you want. You'll actually be able to see the grain coming through. Thanks for watching, you guys. Bye. When you go up to the manager and you want to buy like a lot, you just ask him, if I bought a pallet, what would my price be per each? And I told him, I told my husband, I said, I can get them for $6.99 on sale. I can wait for them to go on sale and I can clear their shelves. Or they can see if they can order a pallet and get me the sales price for the pallet. They ordered the pallet and they got me an even better price than the sales price. They were very, very nice to us. So my other one had a dial on it. This one does not have a dial, so we will try high and see if we kill it. Woo! I hope my hairdresser did not see me just do that. And I do it again. That's just warm. It damages your hair, people. Everybody's like, you have such soft hair because I don't use any product, any heat.